Hi guys, welcome to week 4 reading discussion for 2021 spring session. I'm your Professor Stephen Hoag. Today we're going to go quickly through the PowerPoints because I think I've shared most of the information that you need in the previous 3 weeks. So you can always go back and watch the old lectures in case you're missing any information about registration or Edmodo or anything else, advice. Your textbooks, same as always. And I gave you lots of information how to register or download the audio files. The Zoom meetings, we're going to be starting this week with spending more time with the textbooks during our Zoom meets. So that might include answering things together or practicing dialogues or just going over answers. If you're not sure how to meet on Zoom, I don't know why, but if you missed any previous meetings because you're unsure, the Zoom meeting is posted on our classroom wall for each of my classes. You just have to scroll down in Edmodo, find the link, and follow it. Okay. We will be going through Unit 2 as your next assignment, which will be due in the following Monday morning as usual. I will be posting that assignment as soon as I can after I've locked the previous submissions. As usual, if you are late without a reason, you are going to miss out on some marks, but given the amount of time that you have, a full week or thereabouts, you should be able to finish each assignment accordingly and on time. Okay, you've had lots of time to practice. I hope this is no longer an issue. If you do have questions, of course you can use my email, but I would much prefer that you send me a private message on Edmodo, because it'll pop up just like a Facebook message and I can easily answer. Just remember to include your class name, because on Edmodo I can see your student name and number, but please include your class name and number because I have 3 of each. Alright, so thank you for that. Let's go back. Okay, actually just a moment. Alright, this is possibly easier to see. Our first page of Unit 2, it tells us the title, Nutritional Science. Okay, so the science of nutrition. Nutrition just means what's good for you to eat. Okay? And science is a scientific study. So we're going to be making inferences for our critical thinking subjects. We'll be reading with previewing a text, which we've done already. Vocabulary section includes using context to understand words. Our writing section using descriptive adjectives, and our grammar section will use and study the use and placement of adjectives. Alright, so let's get into it. Maybe we can make this a quicker lecture than last week, which was quite long. Let me just zoom out for a second. Alright, and the first thing we see is the unit question. What makes food attractive? Now, attractive just means pretty or tempting or handsome, gorgeous, whatever you want to call it. But what draws us to it? There's a few discussion questions that we can start off with, just to preview the unit. What kinds of food do you eat every day? So that's an opinion question. I don't think everyone eats the same thing every day. Number 2, what kinds of food do you eat on special occasions? Okay, perhaps holidays or events that mark something that's special to you. Look at the photo. Do you think how food looks, which means its presentation, okay, how food is presented, how food looks affects how it tastes? Can you explain that opinion? So I'm looking for comprehensive sentences here for your opinion answers. Part B, we're going to listen to the Q online classroom to answer these questions. Eunice says, let's push it over a bit. Okay. Eunice says that homemade food tastes the best. Why does homemade food taste better than prepared food? Okay, food that's already been prepared. Okay, it's like canned soup or maybe even something that's been prepared for you at a restaurant. Number 2, Felix believes foods with too much sugar and fat cause weight problems. In contrast, what kinds of food do you think help people lose weight? All right. So, you know what Felix thinks. In difference to his opinion, you can point out foods that you currently think is good for losing weight, okay, for diets. So again, I'm looking for comprehensive things that show me that you understand the questions, and of course these are not yes/no answers. I would expect full sentences of your own opinion. Okay, we're going to listen to the online classroom quickly.
Unit 2, Nutritional Science, the Q Classroom.
In Unit 2, we're going to talk about food. So today we'll start with the Unit 2 question, which is, what makes food attractive? Sophie, what do you think?
I think freshness is the most important thing. Vegetables from the garden taste delicious. Vegetables from the store only taste okay. The vegetables from the store usually travel a long distance, and I think that affects the taste.
Una, what do you think? What else makes food taste good?
Homemade. I like homemade food the best.
Well, I agree with both of you. Fresh food and homemade food taste good. Now let's consider ingredients. What ingredients make food taste good? Marcus, what do you think?
I think the right amount of salt is important. A lot of prepared food, like canned food, has too much salt. And I think in this country, a lot of homemade food has too little salt. It ruins a dish.
Interesting. Felix, what makes food taste good?
I think for most people, sugar and fat make food taste good. That's why we have weight problems, because most of us like food with too much sugar and too much fat. Even foods that shouldn't really be sweet taste better to us when they're sweet, like yogurt or peanut butter.
All right, so they have their opinions. I'd like to hear yours. The practice, it says online discussion board, meaning that, we're not using the IQ classroom, so you can skip that question. We're not using the discussion board. The unit objective, read the articles, gather information and ideas to write a descriptive paragraph about your favorite dish, okay, your favorite food dish. That is the unit objective, but we're not going to spend a lot of time with our writing skills. So this is going to be our writing section. As I explained last class, last lecture. The writing section is voluntary. If you would like to complete it, great, good for you, excellent. But I'm not going to be expecting you all to write full paragraphs in the writing section. We're going to concentrate on the readings and on the vocabulary and the grammar. Okay, so I'll explain that again when we get there. Let's get to the first reading. Okay, reading 1 is called Knowing Your Tastes. Okay, knowing your tastes. And you can call that your taste. It could be different for anything from food to your style of clothing, okay, to your taste in men or women, okay, personalities. Knowing your tastes, in this case, we're looking at food magazine. So it's going to be more specifically based about your food taste. And we can start with a preview. It says preview the reading and the headings, okay? Then look at the pictures. The author has 2 main reasons for writing the article. Check these 2 reasons. So there's 5 boxes here. Which ones are the 2 main reasons the writer has? And now you can see here's the title, okay? The title and the headings over the paragraphs. Okay, food likes and dislikes, how the tongue works, non-tasters, medium tasters, super tasters, different worlds for different tasters. Continues on the next page, super tasters, non-tasters, and diet. And then, what kind of taster are you? So in each of these headings, you have an idea of what they're going to talk about in the following paragraph. And that should give you a good idea of what you think the main reason, or 2 reasons, the author had for writing the article. Okay, the quick write, I've heard about this from a few people. What is an important food or dish in your culture? Write for 5 or 10 minutes in response. You don't need to write for 5 or 10 minutes. You can just explain a popular or important food or an important dish. If you are Korean, for example, what would you eat I don't know, on special occasions, or for, a wedding, a funeral, or when you're meeting your family for special holidays. There's all kinds of different reasons to eat a special dish, okay, an important dish, for whatever reason. You can probably think of 10 off the top of your head. But I'd just like to see, it doesn't have to be 16 paragraphs, just a small, maybe 2 or 3 sentences. You should be able to explain something very concisely. Vocabulary. Check the words you know, then work with a partner to locate each word in the reading. Well, you don't need a partner. You can very easily locate each one. Okay. If you're unsure of these words, you can check your own dictionary. IQ practice, that is your online work. So you can leave that for after the student book, or you can stop here and go into your online workbook and work on it. It's up to you. But let's just take a look at some of these words. Here's a prepositional phrase, at risk. Balanced, an adjective. Be made up of is a verbal phrase. Identify is a verb. Likely, an adjective. Recognize is a verb. Sensitive, another adjective. System is a noun. And typically is an adverb. Alright, so you can repeat after me and watch that again, or you can work on it with by yourself, or listen to your dictionary. Also, there should be a lot of oral dictionaries where you can listen to it on your phone. So I'm not going to play this reading. I'm just going to let you read through it yourself. There's a vocabulary section here. We're given, it looks like 9 different words. Complete each sentence with the vocabulary from reading 1. You may need to change the form of some of these words. So the form might be a tense, okay, like past tense, future tense, or a simple present, or whatever you need from the root. See what fits grammatically in each box, okay, and try it on your own. Continues all the way to here, and then you get another IQ prompt for online practice. Part C is identify what is the main idea of the article, A, B, C, or D. Which statement is true about taste buds? So again, this is reading for detail, okay, identifying the correct answer. Part D is answer the questions and write the paragraph number where the answer is found. Okay, so if you go back to the reading, you'll notice 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, these are the paragraph numbers. There's 6 altogether. So, if that's the case, which paragraph? Okay, 1 to 6. And then, what's the answer? Okay. Part E is identifying the following from reading 1. They tell you the paragraph. Although all humans have taste buds, we do not all have the same number of them. What does them refer to? Well, in this case, the same number of taste buds. Okay. I don't want to show you all the answers, but that one's for free. You should be able to work through these identifications. There is a critical thinking strategy that comes with a video. You know what, we can watch this together. But this is about making inferences, and you'll see this word a lot, inferences. Inferences is kind of like saying an educated guess. Okay, when you infer something, you have a bit of information, but you still need to fill in the blank. If you're using your knowledge to think beyond the ideas and what the author states in the text, inferring actually means analyzing the information that is provided in a text to find out other information that was not given to you. Okay? So if you're given 9 different things, you can infer the 10th thing as most possible or totally true. In other words, you're looking for ideas that are suggested but not directly stated, right, in the text. So let's just have a quick look at this strategy.
Welcome to the Critical Thinking Strategy for Unit 2. The strategy for this unit is making inferences. Making inferences can help you better understand a text. Making inferences is an important skill that will help you make informed decisions and conclusions about what you read. So, what is an inference? Well, often the author of a text will suggest an idea, but not state it directly. So, as a reader, you have to make an educated guess, or infer, what the author is suggesting, based on what you know and what you have read. Sometimes we call making inferences reading between the lines. When you make an inference, you form an opinion or reach a conclusion based on information in the reading and your own experiences and knowledge. When you make an inference, ask yourself, what is the author suggesting without stating it directly? What do I already know about this subject? Then ask, what can I infer from what the author has written? Now let's look at an example. Food photography was not widely popular before social media. First, ask yourself what the author is suggesting. That food photography is popular now. He also mentions social media. Then ask yourself what you already know about food photography and social media. You know that people like to post pictures of food on sites like Facebook and Instagram. Based on that, you can make an inference that social media has made food photography more popular. Now read about this situation. What can you infer about Martin's feelings towards carrots? Well, what does the author suggest, and what do we already know? Because Martin ate dessert, we can infer that he was still hungry. In other words, he didn't reject the raw carrots because he was full, and we know that he doesn't hate carrots in general because he ate carrot cake. From this information, we can infer that Martin probably does not like raw carrots. This inference is reinforced by the common idea that children don't like to eat their vegetables. Now, let's recap today's lesson. We have discussed that when you make inferences, you are making an educated guess about information that is hinted at, or not directly stated, in a text. So, the next time you read a text, remember to ask yourself, what does the author want me to understand? And what do I already know about the topic? Asking these questions will help you make informed inferences as you read. Thanks for listening.
Okay. So we have a small idea of what we might be asked in the future about inferences, okay? Pretty good idea, I guess. Here's an interpretation section. Okay, not too bad. You can look through the text to find these answers. There is a discussion section next on page 36. So again, it says in a group, but we're going to be talking about this in a group on Zoom possibly. So please write down something informative that shows you put some thought into your answer so that you can share it with the group without thinking you've spent only 10 seconds on each. Alright, do you think you are a non-taster, a medium taster, or a super taster? Why? So every time you see why, you need a reason. I think I'm a non-taster because yada yada. Okay. Second question, pretty straightforward. These are all opinion questions. In addition to the type of tasters they are, what are other possible reasons why people like certain foods and don't like others? Well, as for one example, you might think of a food that you don't like because you were forced to eat it as a child all the time when you were hungry for something else. Or maybe there was a food that made you sick at some point in your life. It doesn't make you, it's not a very attractive food for you anymore. Alright, anyway, you can think of your own ideas and your own reasons and write them down, please, in full sentences. Previewing means looking through a text quickly to find the topic and the main ideas before you read the whole text. So previewing gives you a general understanding of the reading first, which will help you when you read the whole text from beginning to end. So if you preview, you're basically trying to predict what the material is about. Okay, so previewing is usually reading the title and the headings, which we just did, looking at photos and pictures, reading the first and last paragraphs, Okay, and you should be able to answer these questions. What is the topic and what ideas are discussed in the reading? So looking at reading 2, follow these steps as you preview the text. Okay, you're going to be previewing. What is the title? There are 3 headings. What are there? There's one already. Okay, if you haven't seen the title already, it's called Eating with Our Eyes. Look at the photographs. What are they of? Okay, what do you see in the photographs? Read the first and last paragraph. Read them quickly. Underline the topic sentence. Okay, the main idea for each paragraph. And then, what is the topic of the reading? What ideas do you think will be discussed? Okay, you can restate, okay, which means you can be concise and make a short answer about what ideas you expect to be reading. There's a couple online practices here, so again, you can stop here, go into your online if you'd like, or you can keep going with the student book and our lecture, and then go into your online work after finishing the student book. So reading 2 is called Eating with Our Eyes. It's about food photography. All right. Do you know anything about this topic? Do you post pictures of food you eat on social media? Okay, do you have like an Instagram or Facebook where you might put a photo? I mean, most people will show their birthday cake or something like that, but are you a foodie? Do you take pictures at the restaurant? Why or why not? You don't have to write for 10 minutes. You can write very briefly, okay, your own opinion about this matter. Here's some more vocabulary we can go through together. We'll see this in the next article. Arrange, which is a verb, arrange. Artistic, an adjective. Be willing to, which is a verbal phrase. Identical, an adjective. Influence, which is a verb. In terms of, which is a prepositional phrase. A method, which is a noun. Occasion, also a noun. Principle, and status symbol. All of these are nouns, and if you're unsure of the meaning, you can write down your descriptive translations, I guess, in here from your dictionary. There's another IQ for pronunciation. Alright, again, I'm not going to press play. I think you guys all have the audio tracks on your online workbook anyway, if you look for them. You can certainly follow along and shadow the reading, but they do give you also some footnotes to explain some of these words at the bottom of each reading. The rise of the food pic, the tastiest food photos, getting that perfect pic. Right, and there's some references. You might find those. References just tells you where this information came from, like a bibliography. All right. Anyway, after you've read it, you can go through the vocabulary section, read the sentences, and write each bold word next to its correct definition. You may need to change the form of some of these words, so there might be a different tense that you need to think about. Alright, right there in those boxes. Page 41 deals with, well, see, we have more online practice, but restating the main idea of the article. Okay, which one of these 4 is the main idea? Identify the main ideas for each paragraph and write the paragraph number in the box. Categorize if it's true or false. Okay, if it is false, make it true according to the article. What's missing, what's not correct about these sentences if they are false. I've done that before. Answer these questions. They tell you the paragraph. We're looking for pronouns and which words reference what. Which words reference what? Okay. Again, we've done that before. And then we have an interpret where you can infer from the reading. Okay. Which of these can we infer from the reading? Which of these statements are true if we're not given the exact answer in the reading, but they give us enough information to make these interpretively true statements. Okay. There's a composition questions here, 5 to 8 sentences. I don't need to see 5 to 8 sentences, but you could tell me more than yes and no. You could write down 1 or 2 sentences to explain yourself. Okay, page 43 is a work with the video. Do you enjoy trying foods from other countries? Share your opinion. So you can write down, and remember, I haven't mentioned this yet, but the same as always, you should write down anytime you run out of room, you should be writing using at least a post-it or a book, and take photos of the notes, which include the page number and the question number. Okay. There doesn't seem to be a lot of room here to write down your opinion, but please do that as usual by making room with your notebook or your post-it notes. Okay. We're going to watch this this one video.
Welcome to Peckham in South London. People from lots of different countries live here. You can see the different types of food for sale, smell different flavours, and taste meals from all around the world. This is Jennifer and her husband. They have a takeaway shop in Peckham where they cook and sell West Indian food.
My name is Jennifer. I'm 48 years old.
Jennifer starts cooking at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Every day I do on my own curry goat, oxtail, rice and peas, plain rice, brown stew chicken, curry chicken.
For Jennifer, it's not just about the money. She makes her food with love and care.
I'm doing it for profit, but the main thing is for them to get home-cooked meal, not just restaurant food.
Everyone enjoys the taste of good food. Jennifer's husband says that they have customers from many different nationalities who have made West Indian cuisine a part of their lives.
I got Chinese, I got Indian, I got Puerto Rican, I got African. So they love it's, you know what I mean? I think they really, really appreciate West Indian food and they accept it as a part of them as well.
This is Sally. Sally also cooks delicious food for the people of Peckham. She's a chef and her husband is from Iran. Together, they own an Iranian shop and cafe.
We've been in business here for 13 years.
She believes we can learn a lot from Iranian mealtimes.
Food is the centre of any culture, and it's a lovely way of bringing together different people at the end of the day to share a meal, to sit around a table or a cloth on the floor. This is something that we can all learn from the Middle East in particular, because a daily meal, at least one daily meal, is central to the family.
Sally sells Middle Eastern ingredients, but the dishes she cooks include flavours from a mix of nationalities. Like this dish, plantain banana cooked in spices on flatbread.
With a bit of Peckham and a bit of Morocco and a whole lot of West Africa.
Jennifer and Sally are just a few of the many Londoners who put love and care into their food. So what are the ingredients for a great meal? People from Peckham think you need culture, a mix of flavours, and good friends to enjoy your food with.
So they give you a little bit of vocabulary for the video too, if you want to watch that again and understand it more clearly. It says to go online, but we just did that. You can watch it yourself. Watch it 2 or 3 times before you answer these questions. Okay. I'm sure you'll be able to pick it up, even if the narrator and the guests involved in the video, they all speak not terribly thick, but they have a UK accent. You should be able to pick out the words. There's an extension question here. Do you believe it is important for families to share at least one meal per day? Okay. It doesn't mean that you do, but do you think it's important? For instance, if you have, in the future, if you have kids, would you like to be able to sit down with them for dinner and hear about their day, or have breakfast with your children before they go off to school? Is that important to you? Or any other reason, or maybe it's not. You can write down your own thought. That's another opinion. Okay. Write what you think. Think about reading 1, think about reading 2, and the unit video as you discuss these questions. Okay. Choose one question and write a paragraph. Well, a paragraph can be as little as, paragraph can be quite small, but you can choose one of these 3 questions and write, let's say write down 2 or 3 sentences, okay, to explain your answer, your opinion. Okay, that would be fine. Vocabulary skill is using context to understand words. So, learning to read without stopping to look up new words can help you read faster and understand more. When you're reading, to do this, when you're reading, try to guess the meaning of a new word from context. Context refers to the other words and ideas in the sentence around the new word. So a balanced diet usually means eating more fruits, vegetables, and grains, and consuming fewer foods that are high in fat, sugar, and cholesterol. The context around the word consuming suggests that the sentence is about what kinds of food to eat and not to eat in order to have a balanced diet. Therefore, you can guess that consuming has a similar meaning to eating, okay, if you haven't figured that out already. So if you need to know what a word means, start by guessing it from context. This is a good reading skill, really, for a second language or third. If a sentence does not give enough context, then you can look it up in a dictionary, okay? But you'll find that the more you practice this reading skill, the less you'll be reaching for the dictionary, because you won't need to rely on it if you are starting to take contextual clues, okay? Words around it that make sense to give it a meaning of its own. So try to find what these words mean. Read each sentence and try to answer the question that follows. People in every culture have their own ideas of what constitutes a balanced meal, whether it is tastes, menus, ingredients, eating habits, or nutritional benefits. What things can make a balanced meal? Boom, they just told us. Pizza and lasagna are 2 famous dishes that can be found in most Italian restaurants. So what foods are common? Alright, and it goes on. There's an extension where we check the word or phrase that is closest in meaning to the bold word. So we can look at context and activity A, but we did see these words bold in the last exercise. Constitutes, dishes, view, taste, textures, and harmony. Okay. If you need to think a bit more, you can reach for your dictionary. But then part C is choose 4 words from here. Okay. And write a sentence using each word. So using the word in a sentence on your own, a brand new sentence. Try not to copy the previous sentences. Try to think of your own idea and write down your own sentence. Remember, you don't want to get lazy at this point. I know we've been working on quite a few pages, but you have the whole week to finish, okay? If you'd like to go slowly, then just do a few pages in a day, and then whenever you have the next chance to do a few more. Don't forget your online workbook is also a few pages by itself, but it's helpful and it reinforces what you've learned. There's another IQ online here before we go to page 46, which is a writing section. And again, there is some grammar activities. We might be going through the grammar during our Zoom sessions together, but we're not going to be writing anything to hand in as your homework assignment. So you can stop here for now, but you can certainly go ahead and finish if you'd like, all right, for your own benefit. I think it goes to page, track your success. Yeah. There's quite a large writing section. Here's the unit assignment, descriptive paragraphs. And finally, we go to track your success, okay, where you learn, what we've learned, right? And again, you don't need to hand in the writing section after page 45. We might be talking about that in our Zoom sessions. We're going to see how much time we have. But your final test will not include anything that includes a paragraph of writing, because this is not a writing class. And it's a heck of a lot of work when you've got enough to do in this class and others. So you could show me this part. You can certainly track your success. But we will stop there before our next unit. Okay. So basically that's it. I'm going to post the assignment parameters, the page numbers that you need to finish. But we'll be going, just like I stated, we'll be going to at least page 45, plus your online workbook, which will reinforce what you've done, and a bit more work maybe to think about. And later on this week, we'll be reviewing Unit 1 together during our Zoom session, so please don't be late. Be early if you can, and I will see you all then. Thanks, guys. Take care. See you soon.